Gentlemen, the time has come once again to discuss things.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
You want to go ahead and get started, though?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Geeky Gentlemen. I am Sid Part2. Joining me today is...
Oh, hello, hi. I'm the real Manos.
Oh, just a professional ship we run here.
Yes.
Anyway, so we're continuing fan film reviews today, and Manos picked our fan film. What are we talking about today, sir?
We are talking about Green Hornet, and this is what they call a pilot.
Mm-hmm. What's a pilot?
Pilot, you know, the people who pick shows go and choose that show, and they decide to see if they're going to make more shows.
You fucked it all up, though. I love you, Manos, but you so fucked it up. I set you up for it beautifully.
Yes.
I'm disappointed in you.
Sorry.
It's okay. Yeah, so, like, this is called a pilot, and, yeah, I legit could see this being a reboot of the Green Hornet show from the 60s.
I would say so.
This has all the markings of a gritty reboot. I think some of the language is maybe... Because, you know, I got stabbed in the fucking leg. Maybe they're trying to pitch it like HBO or something if they're to pitch this as an actual series pilot. I don't know if you really need to go that far. I feel like, you know, with what we'll show on network today, you get away with showing this on network.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, this would definitely, as far as tone and what they show, would be just fine on, like, the basic 3 networks now show stuff like this.
Yeah.
Barring language, which is hilarious.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. You can show women being kept in cages and murdered on stuff like Criminal Minds, but no one can drop the F-bomb.
Yep. You can turn a guy into a violin on Hannibal, but don't show a nipple.
Pretty much. So yeah, that oh god, my fucking levels on my microphone are terrible. The way that this series works, the way that this pilot works as a pitch for a series, creates an interesting premise. To be fair, I don't know a ton about Green Hornet, aside from, like, just admiring Bruce Lee's stunt work in it.
What's the basic? Do you know any of the basics?
No, I really don't. Like, he's in this talking about, like, he's trying to pretend to be a criminal.
Yes.
And I was like, wait, what? I never knew that.
That's the twist of the character. Britt Reed, I think his name is, and his partner Kato. They fight crime under, you know, the concept of Green Hornet. But the twist is they fool people into thinking they're like developing criminals and, like, trying to create an underworld. You know, to try and create misinformation. So yeah, people, even the good guys, think that they're the bad guys, but they're secretly, like, fighting crime.
Interesting.
And that goes all the way back. I mean, the Dynamite comics, the Seth Rogen movie, the old '60s show. That's pretty true to the concept.
Okay, yeah, I get it. I guess I just don't understand. And I suppose I just need more context of how that's supposed to help or work, because I guess the plot hole that comes to mind specifically in this is, alright, so he's trying to look like he's building a criminal empire, but, like, he doesn't take over the business. he just, folds it. He just folds this sex trafficking business in one go, and he doesn't take it over and, like, you know what I'm saying? So, like, plot hole wise, how does that function to the idea that he's building his own criminal empire? And I'm not sure if that's something that you need more context of the series for, or if that's just, like, poor plotting on this thing's part.
That's always been a kind of plot hole with the character as a whole. Like, he would have to actually create a criminal empire to kind of prove that he's doing it, but, he doesn't want to do it. I suppose just it's almost psychological warfare in a way, where if people don't know what to think of this character, then it creates a sense of fear. Like, I don't know. I've always kind of wondered that about the character as well. It's like, I don't know how much this really helps, and almost like it almost kind of hinders.
Okay, so like that seems more of just a thing of the conceit than it is against the plot of this fan film then. Because I was just curious about that, because that was what I was left scratching my head with. And, like, you have to work with what you have to work with, and I'm sure that if they make this into a series, you can get more time to delve into exactly how that works. Or maybe it's like, it doesn't matter if I actually take over the business, all I'm doing is I'm forcing them to be more desperate because now they think they have competition, so now they're taking more risks, which gives me more opportunity to stop them. Like, you can easily create some kind of conceit to make it work long term. I'm not aware enough of the concept to really get it on one go like that. But ultimately, like, as far as just production stuff goes on here, damn. This is really, really well done.
I would agree to that. I think production standards are really good. I think it's very nicely paced for the most part, where you get a sense. I mean, it's a good while before we even know this is a Green Hornet movie watching it. Like, we have this real sense of tension that's created, and, like, they sit on for a while. And you wonder, like, are they going to, like, really torture and take these girls away?
I mean, like, it almost looks like it's going to be the tragic origin as opposed to, like, them showing up to do anything about it, right? That was, like, they seriously wait till it's about to become just really, really difficult to watch. And then the first guy drops, and you're like, "Oh, thank God!"
And that's actually what I like about it. Is like, you should get that feeling when the superheroes show up. Like, yay! Oh, this is great.
Oh man,
it's a nice build up for relief.
Yes, exactly. You get that. You just need that release of tension, and it makes you just instantly start rooting for these guys. They don't have to prove themselves to you or anything. You're just like, thank God someone's here to stop this. Because it's just the women are put into this situation where they're literally they can't do anything. Even just like a defiant stand to, like, show character and a fuck you attitude, even that gets one of them killed. And so you just immensely powerless.
Yes, and I like what it does in the juxtapose of how basically fairly realistic, evil, scary villains versus, a fun guy in a costume with gadgets and, wisecracks. And I don't know, I just never get tired of seeing that kind of butt heads.
Yeah, and it's nice that, like, it's kind of instantly just more believable as far as, why don't they just shoot the guy? Well, they're kind of trying to a lot. It's not like just, there's no stormtrooper aim here. Like, everyone's getting taken out before they even get the chance to get more than one shot off.
Yes.
And that's just really, it's just well paced. It's well conceived from an action standpoint because of that. Now let me ask you this, because I thought this was an interesting choice, and I want to get your take on it.
Yes.
So we see that these girls don't get, like, their drinks spiked or something, they willingly take a drug that from a stranger, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not part of the whole club scene, so I don't know how normal that behavior is. But I feel like most of the time when you show something like this, there'd be an attempt to just paint the victims as absolutely, angelically innocent most of the time. And this, I feel it does something much more realistic, which says, yeah, sometimes people don't really necessarily make the best decisions, but that doesn't mean they deserve things like this. So it's just, it's interesting the way that played off. How did you feel?
I agree with you on that. They were just out to have some fun and, get drunk or stoned or maybe laid, who knows? Mm-hmm. And just because you want to do that doesn't mean you deserve the worst things ever to happen to you. And there's that kind of, films and TV shows do that a lot where, the bad girl gets in trouble. She deserves it. It's supposed to be a moral lesson. And you know what? Fuck that kind of writing. Fuck that trope. I hate that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And I agree with you. These girls just wanted to have fun. They shouldn't be like brutally murdered and raped and tortured for just wanting to go out and kill some time. And
but I guess the underlying question becomes, like, does this piece do enough to establish that they don't deserve this fate? Does it do enough to make you empathize with them and not just, like...
I think so. Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like it did a really good job of making you feel like just they instantly, clearly regret what they did, but, like, it doesn't... you live with it for so long. You live with that fear and tension that they're going to be experiencing for so long that it doesn't feel like these are the consequences, kind of like after school special thing. It feels like just this is scary and shit.
Yes.
And that's what I found interesting about it.
Yeah, I mean, that scene just with them in the cage just goes on a little longer than you may think it. And it does, and we've already even talked about this. Like, it does make you wonder. Like, am I going to see them killed? Is this a different movie than I thought I put in? Yeah,
that's the thing for me is, you got what's her name, Amy, the Amy character.
Yeah.
I was legit. Wheels were spinning in my head a little bit. I'm like, okay, she's Asian, and we haven't seen the Green Hornet yet. Is this going to be a super fucked up Kato origin story? Is this about to get super crazy? And it doesn't, and that's thank God, because I don't think I could have sat through that shit. But I was almost like, is this gonna be Room, but for Kato's origin?
And it's nice that we get both Kato and Jade in this.
Oh, is she a character from the comics or something?
Yeah, she's a character from the Dynamite comics.
Okay.
So yeah, that's kind of cool. Because the Dynamite comics kind of plays around with legacy. The Green Hornet and Kato are actually kids of the previous versions who lived during the 60s. And I can't remember if the Seth Rogen film did that. It's been so long since I've seen it.
I'm pretty sure, if I remember the trailers correctly, Seth Rogen's taking it over from his father, but Kato's the same person, maybe?
Yes. It plays it halfway. He takes over for his father, but I don't remember him. I think he invents the Green Hornet himself. So it's kind of halfway through that, which I don't know. I kind of like the legacy idea, frankly, better.
I don't know, it's a weird one. So the legacy character is interesting. So Jade is obviously a lot younger than the two of them. Is that from the comics, that she's the younger sister kind of thing, or is that just actor placement here?
That I can't remember.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm afraid I read the first couple years of the Dynamite series, and then I kind of dropped it for a while. For a while. I just dropped it. And it's one of those cases where I just didn't have the money to keep it up.
No, that makes sense. I was just curious because I think that creates an interesting relationship, and I it's just they're teasing the hell out of me by calling this a pilot, and I just it immediately makes my wheels turn. Like, okay, where could this go as a series? What could they be doing? And yeah, it just makes it really, really interesting that you've got like this, really kind of critical dynamic between the three of them. It's like, I got stabbed in the fucking leg. It's like, well, I got shot in the leg. Really? No, of course not. Like, that's really funny. Like that bickering kind of dynamic. And then when she gets there and she's like, freeze, and he goes, freeze? Really? What was I supposed to say? So there's interesting kind of character dynamics and kind of character arcs being set up. I thought.
I would agree with that. They play each other, play off each other very well. I like the fact that there's been a kind of like temptation to overshadow the Green Hornet with Kato, because hey, Kato was Bruce Lee, and everybody loves him.
To be fair, in China, it was called the Kato Show.
Yeah, it was, and actually the Seth Rogen movie kind of plays with that as a running joke, where Kato literally does everything. Mm-hmm. To the point where it's like, okay, I get it. This one I think was pretty well balanced among the three characters.
Yeah, I guess I'd agree with that. I don't know how. Like, all right, I'll just frank about it. I don't care enough about the franchise to have much of a valid opinion. But I'm much more of a Bruce Lee fan than I am a Green Hornet fan. So if you're going to focus on anyone, I prefer Bruce Lee's character. But that being said, I'm not really going to go seek it out myself that much anyway, because I'm still not all that invested. So you're a Green Hornet fan, do what the fuck you want. Don't listen to, jokers like me sitting back here. But more Bruce Lee character. Because honestly, Bruce Lee's not playing him anymore, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, he hasn't touched the role since the 60s, so...
And that whole dying thing kind of got in the way.
That's true. It has troubled. So, yeah, I love the character. I love both characters, actually. And I just, I thought this was pretty well done. And they have different fighting dynamics. Obviously, Kato and Jade are, like, better fighters, technically. Mm-hmm. But Green Hornet's more of a roundhouse kind of fighter, and he also has a little bit more tech.
He seemed like more of a brawler type, and I like where he's like, oh, I took out these 5 guys, and there's the dude knocked out outside. Meanwhile, Kato's got the whole fucking room under control. That was so ridiculous. Oh,
that's what I really like about it. It's like, he's this big kind of like showman. When Green Hornet's done right, he's this kind of like big showman, and Kato was like knocking this guy out, knocking this guy out, knocking this guy out. Mm-hmm. While the Green Hornet is dealing with the leader, and not even. It's like a lot of misdirection. So yeah, I think that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because look. You're much better off, like, secretly taking out your enemy than, like, just showing up and, fighting them. Like, I know it's cooler to do it that way, but it's less believable.
Well, I'm going to go back on my years of experience of taking out cabals of evil henchmen and say, nah, you're probably right. I don't know. This is like the stupidest kind of conversation that nerds get into, and I love it.
Oh, man, I could even go dumber.
Oh, my. Yeah, no, so you're definitely right and onto something. I don't know, there's just something about me that goes back to, like, the Bruce Lee biopic where they walk Bruce through the scene of how Kato's going to enter the room, take out one guy, untie the Green Hornet, and then they'll together take out the rest of the guys. And they go, action, Bruce Lee enters the room, literally kicks everyone's ass, and fucking breaks the chair. And he's like, I thought I'd spice it up a bit.
Well, I always loved the story that when they did the crossover with the 66 Batman show, Bruce Lee was, like, not about, like, getting beaten by Burt Ward in a fight. He was like, fuck that noise, because that guy can't even fight, can he?
Probably not.
So they had to kind of, like, they had to do a lot of negotiating with that, which I always thought was funny.
Oh, that's hilarious. Anyway, so yeah, there's like stuff like that, just fan base wise, to think about in regards to the property. But again, I'm not invested enough in the property to check it out. So if they got a vision of how they want this to focus more on a team dynamic than to focus solely on Kato, that's fine. Go for it. If you got the idea for it, if you got the vision, go for it. What do you think of the actors acting in this?
Oh, yeah, I actually thought the acting was pretty solid. Let's see. I guess, Vicky was rather frightening. The Russian, boss leader. I don't really have any problems with a lot of the acting. I thought it was like TV level, professional.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I thought the performances were all pretty good, and the main team is probably the best. I was really, really impressed with the girls that get abducted. They were like, again, that scene of them in the cage is legitimately frightening.
I would say so.
And I've watched shit like Criminal Minds and all this other stuff, and after a while, you only get so much of an emotional reaction out of a person crying and like locked up in a fucking basement somewhere. They kind of bring it back. They really sell it. So yeah, kudos to the acting team in this.
That's true. I mean, if their acting wasn't convincing, it kind of throw everything off, really, especially how long the scene is. I also like the chemistry. I think we kind of briefly talked about this, but I do like the chemistry of Green Hornet, Jade, and Kato. I think there is a nice camaraderie there.
Yeah, like, especially when they walk back in and kind of, like, joking around afterward for a bit, and then, like, the mood just turns instantly when he's got to go be an asshole for the whole gimmick thing. That was interesting. It's like, did you take care of the girls? That's on you, boss. That's, like, you can just feel the weight in the room drop. It's really cool.
It's like, well, you committed to this idea. You gotta keep being an asshole about it.
Yeah. So I don't know. There's stuff with the acting that I thought was a little off here and there, but not like in a significant way. There's like just kind of basic stunt work stuff that I got kind of questioning about, but I'm used to seeing that kind of thing in all kinds of productions, not just fan film and TV level stuff. So I'm not sure if it's really worth talking about all that much. Why don't you take us somewhere?
Okay, let's go on a magic journey.
Magical journey.
Let's see. I suppose I would have to say I think the fight choreography. You were kind of getting into it a little bit, but I did like the fight choreography for the most part. I didn't expect it to kind of break into the other room.
Best shot. Oh my god! Thing. Best shot.
Yeah. Oh my god! They had like a whole operation going there, and
you just see the cam girls like freaking out. Wow, that just really worked. That was really, really cool how that all kind of played right off of it perfectly.
Yes. And then, because I was thinking like, which kid, because when I first started watching this, it does have the mention of the film studio and Dynamite Comics. So it was like, okay, what kind of Kato are we going to get in this one? Like, the male or female. So I was pleasantly surprised that we got, both Katos really, in the form of Jade and Kato. And yeah, it did seem like she was the younger one. In the comics, she seemed to show up before the brother.
Okay.
So, by the way, shout out to the first, I think, 7 issues written by Kevin Smith. Is my favorite Kevin Smith comic project ever. I think his original Green Hornet comic, the origin and setting up the Dynamite comic, is really great stuff. I think it's best comic work. I don't think he's topped it. I don't think anything he's written before or since was as good as that 7 or 8 issues he did.
Okay.
And he has like said how that was kind of going to be the movie, and it kind of pisses me off because that would have been a great movie, and it would have been his best movie. And I'm like kind of frustrated with him that he kind of like, gave up on it, or I'm sure there were other factors, but that would have been a great film.
Yeah. To go back to the fan film again,
Yes.
that shot with the cam girls I really like because it does so much to give you, like you said, the scale of the operation, and it just does it all visually, which is nice.
Yes.
Like, we don't actually know from dialogue what these girls are going to be used for, if they're going to be shipped overseas or what. And then you see the cam girl thing, and like you just get this oh shit kind of sense of things, and that really, really worked. I really liked how that all came through.
What did you think of the absolute opening with the bar hopping scenes?
It was interesting. It definitely gave you a good sense of scale and like the kind of potential, the scope of the city kind of thing. I like that. That was kind of neat. I will say the dialogue in the club at the bar was a bit hard to hear, and it's not like they went and shot this guerrilla style at a bar. They actually, clearly rented a place out to shoot in. And so I don't know, like, if they were actually playing music or if they put it in post and just did a little too much to make it sound like a loud bar, or loud club, whatever.
Yeah.
It's one of my a little bit about that.
They could have done They could have done a trick that has always been my favorite scene at a loud bar. Is David Lynch's Twin Peaks movie, where Laura Palmer and Donna walk into this loud bar, and they're having a scene, and they're yelling at these other actors, to talk to them, and there's subtitles. It's like, I've never seen that before. I was like, really, like, when I first saw that film, I was like just starting to do, hitting clubs and shit like that, and hitting bars, and it's like, that's exactly perfect. Because every time I'd seen, like, bar scenes in movies and TV shows, like, you can hear perfectly, and real life has taught me that's not how these places operate. So maybe that might have been a neat trick, because I've never seen anybody else attempt that idea.
I mean, to be fair, it's David Lynch, and I feel like maybe he's one of the only ones who could get away with it, but you're not wrong. That is a good way to communicate it, but the question is, does it break the level of what's the word I want? Exposure, immersion. The level of immersion in the project.
I don't think it would, but
I don't know. Well, the fact that you've never seen it before would probably make you like, wait, what? Oh, that's perfect, and it kind of takes you out of the beats of the story.
I don't know. I don't think like that.
Okay.
But let's see. But I think I can't decide if that scene went on a little bit too long, or was it just about right?
I kind of might agree with you there that it did seem just a little long, but not overly long.
I'm talking, when I talk about long, I'm talking like maybe a minute. Like, maybe chop 1 minute out of that.
Yeah, like we see them getting a lot of drinks and all that stuff. I'm like, it's not overly, like, distracting. I'm not fast forwarding the video or anything, but it does seem to linger a little longer than it might need to. And that's something I think about a lot with editing, is a lot of editing, unless you're trying to make a point by dragging something out, the tighter the better is kind of become the standard for editing. Not like so fast that it's incomprehensible, but the tighter you can get to the point where you're getting all the information you need as quickly as possible and then moving on to the next thing, the better the editing usually gets. My go-to example of that is the way the very first episode of BBC's Sherlock is edited. That whoever did that should get like a fucking grand prize for editing. It's one of the most tightly, perfectly edited pieces of film I've ever watched. So, and obviously not everything has to be that. To me, that's just the gold standard.
Yeah. And to be honest, I'm kind of 50-50 on that feeling. Because that and the torture scene do have, like, I don't know, there's something to be said about a slow pace and build up and then payoff. which this does give you. So I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know how well I don't know how much the torture, scene is dependent on the club scene, if that makes sense. So
yeah, that's why I'm kind of like, yeah. But if I would have cut anything from the club scene, it would be, like I said, minute or maybe under a minute. 30 seconds to a minute of time.
Yeah, but
so
at the same time,
I wouldn't even shave that much off.
Yeah, the more I think about it, I do like some of their dialogue in it, and it does make them just kind of instantly relatable, like that Netflix life, though. That's funny. That's good. I like that. So yeah, you're right. There's definitely it's minuscule, if nothing else. I feel like we're just looking for stuff to stretch and talk about. So why don't we go ahead and go under ratings then?
Yes.
Unless you had anything else.
No, not really. Although if I did shave from the bar scenes, it would be more the dancing stuff than the dialogue. The dialogue was, I felt, kind of important as far as connecting with the characters.
Okay. I did think of one other thing. I really like their remix of the theme. It's really cool.
Yes. Oh, thank you. I did. It wasn't until we got to the remix of the theme and they started playing the riff. I was like, oh yeah, the theme song. I wasn't even thinking about the theme song up until just now. I was really happy to hear it, even a remixed version of it.
Yeah, it's cool. They got it on their channel as a separate, just solo video. If you ever want to jam out some Green Hornet remix,
which I'll be honest, it's never been my favorite theme song because that's never been my favorite piece of music. The
Fly to the Bumblebee.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. It was cool though. I liked it. Okay, I'll go ahead and go first.
Bumblebees aren't hornets.
And there it is.
There, I've said it.
Controversial opinions.
Suck it, Green Hornet fans.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and go first on ratings.
Sure.
I'll give this 3.5 out of 5 stiff-ass Kato kicks that knock someone into the next fucking room. I really like that. That was cool.
And I think I would give this a solid 4 out of 5 Black Beauties.
Okay. Alright. Sounds good. Okay, so next week we'll be going to the world of Harry Potter, and we'll talk about Dumbledore and Grindelwald, The Greater Good, Fantastic Beasts, prequel, fan film. That's a mouthful.
Yeah!
Here
we go! Dumbledore!
Dumbledore! Motherfuckers!
Yeah! Do I need
to
sell this? Am I overselling it?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. All right,
good. It's Dumbledore. It's gonna be lit! Or should it be deluminated? Okay, anyway. Until next time, I'm the Philosopher.
And I'm the Realist.
And we are your Geeky Gentlemen. And we will be discussing things.